So let's talk about preventive maintenance with kids and their big emotions, especially anger. Because I hear a lot from parents that their children do pretty well at school. They can hold it together, and then they get home and this really actually makes sense when we think about anxiety and we think about our systems. At school, we tend to kind of hold it together for lots of reasons. One is because for a lot of people, anxiety is very internalized, and also because we want to be socially appropriate. Lots of kids do have that sense, and they don't want to feel embarrassed in front of others, and so they will hold it in. If we think about though that anxiety is our survival system, our fight or flight survival system that is being triggered and is going off. That means that we have this buildup over time of all the chemicals and hormones that are released in a fight or flight moment. So if I'm in my backyard and I'm out in the garden or something, and a cougar comes in my backyard, and I go into fight or flight, and this is actually an emergency, then my brain prepares my body, and my nervous system prepares my body to be able to run as fast as I can to get back through my back door so I can survive this moment. There's a lot of things that happen in my body, and my chemicals, and my hormones, and my brain and my body change so that I can do that, so I can escape. And I run into the back door, and I might, shake it off. There's that shaking that happens in the body after a situation like that. And then I kind of calm down, and then I feel better. Um, However, when we're in school and the fight or flight that we're in is because of a test, or what if the teacher calls on me, or are those kids talking about me, or what if I can't get to the bathroom in time and I pee my pants? Any of these anxiety things, we're having these false alarms. They're false, but it's still this fight or flight system that is being triggered. Then we're having over and over and over again. We're having all these same chemical reactions happening in our body. So we still have the cortisol and the adrenaline and the epinephrine and all these different things happening in our bodies. So then they have that buildup over time, kind of throughout the day. Some kids like the whole day long, and some kids kind of randomly, depending on what's happening. And so then they come home, and of course they need to kind of empty all this out. And if they don't have a way to empty it out that's a good, healthy way, then it often will just come out and in big tears or in big anger. And so there's things that we can do to help them to release this in ways that are better than the anger. And the best ways are through connection with you. If you can connect with your child after school, on the weekends, and do this preventive maintenance where you are together and you are laughing, is a really powerful way. When we laugh, there's research now that shows that when we laugh, that is using up that stuff in our system that gets developed with the fight or flight response. So we laugh, and that uses it up. So roughhousing, being silly and goofy, running around the backyard, running around the house, mock pillow fights, that kind of thing can really help. We're not going to do tickling, because if you think about what it was like when you were tickled as a kid, for me, it was pretty awful. It was kind of painful and kind of scary. And so yeah, it was kind of funny and felt kind of tickly or whatever, but it was not overall a good experience. We're not going to use tickling because that feels more out of control and scary. But the other ways of laughing and those connecting fun ways are really, really powerful, because we do have that using up, and being like active and moving around uses that up as well. And then crying is another really good one too. If you want to be laughing and goofing around and roughhousing with your child, but they just are not having it, and maybe past that point and they're not able to, and you can see maybe that they need to have a good cry. And we may need to change our perspective on crying a little bit. It's, a lot of us may still have that feeling that, stop crying. Crying is kind of often labeled still as a misbehavior, but actually crying can be really beneficial. When they look at the makeup of tears that are emotional tears, the makeup is different. The chemicals in tears are when we're crying for emotional reasons, for the anxiety, for the anger, there actually is the cortisol and everything else in those tears versus when I cry because I'm cutting up onions. That's a different kind of tear, and they don't see those same chemicals and hormones in there. So they may need to have a really good cry. I think about a good cry like, actually, today is a perfect day for this. We've had lots and lots of storms and rain and wind. And so the Salt Lake Valley is so pretty right now because we've had all of those. And that's kind of like what it is after we have a good cry. It's just, it releases all of that. So connecting, touch, laughter, huge, crying is a big one. And really having your kids feel like you are on their side, and that's a big way to do it is through those ways. Another way, and we'll have another video about this, we can get more into detail with it, but it's something called special time. And special time is a way to do play therapy with your child, but it's instead of taking your child to a play therapist, it's you are able to do it with your child. But having connected time, one-on-one time with your child as often as you can. I mean, the ideal will be every single day, each parent with each child, and some parents can rearrange things and prioritize things a little bit differently and do that, and some parents just simply can't. But whatever you can do. But special time is where you have that one-on-one time with your child, and they get to kind of be in charge in that time. So you're following their lead during that time, and it ends up being really powerful for the child and does a lot of healing and a lot of releasing of emotions. But really, it's that connection that forms, and connection, as we know, is 80 to 90% of parenting. So these things are powerful because they can help to provide your child with what he or she needs to help them to be calmer from the outset, to help preemptively, to help prevent the emotions from building so high that they get to that red zone or to that level 10. And so I encourage you to try these things, to have more time with the laughter, with the connecting, with the crying if we need to cry, moving. And if you do, like with the moving, I have had some parents in the past where they see their child is frustrated, and so they send them into the backyard to run laps. We're not talking about that kind of moving. That's not connection. We want to have it be so that you guys are connecting together, and if you're moving, then you're moving in a fun way together, especially if we can get some good laughter out of it. So try those things out, and let's see if that helps.